Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast in which we celebrate and discuss the film Raiders of the Lost Ark 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Jerry Porter.
And joining us again today is Eric Drysdale.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
It's good to have you.
It's fun to participate in culture on a minute-by-minute level.
Right.
Yes.
If only we all participated in life on a minute-to-minute level.
You've said a mouthful.
Thank you. Until then, we have Raiders of the Lost Ark. And right now we're talking about minute 33. And
one of the best minutes.
It really is. It might be the best. I can't say it's the best minute of the movie, but it's such a good minute. This minute might have the most. Well, okay, let me just okay. It begins with Indy getting slammed onto the bar, and it ends with Toht madly shoving his hand into the snow like a Benny Hill character.
Yeah.
And this minute has like at least two of like, as a kid, definitely the main things I would think of when I thought of this movie.
Yeah.
One of which is
I remember being in a yellow school bus on the way back to the summer camp, because I saw this movie for the first time on a field trip from summer camp, from my Jewish summer camp. And I remember being on the bus and talking to Irv Skupsky, the director of the culture department at the camp. And he was trying to turn the trip to the movie into this lesson about Jewish history, because there's the Lost Ark aspect of the story is a big one, and it is pretty well researched, that whole thing. And he was trying to use it as a teaching opportunity, but of course it was just an awesome movie for a lot of us.
Right.
And I remember being in the bus on the way home and having somebody tell me that the reason why they go to the wrong place, like I didn't quite get it when I was watching the movie, and I remember somebody explaining to me that they were in the wrong spot because he only had the one half. I mean, I know that he says it in the movie, but for some reason it didn't hit me until I was on the bus later, and I was like, that movie just blew my mind.
That is really odd. Like, how many times does like a cool bad guy comeuppance moment actually turn out to be like an extremely important plot point?
Yeah, it's so good.
That's really awesome. And his scream when he does that. I was saying before that Toht is just like such a weird, crazy, like, get away from me, you're so nuts kind of character. And this is like maybe one of his 10 shining moments. Just that scream with that face and those glasses.
And he looks like he's melting.
It's the same scream he does when he dies, too.
I was thinking, it's definitely the same look on his face.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And you see, there's something here at the very beginning where I didn't know this about Toht, but he's clearly like a pyro. Like he has a fascination with fire.
Right.
Again, the irony.
Yeah.
But I never saw this. They give you just a 2-second window where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna light this on fire."
Yeah, I could easily go over
it.
there and shoot this guy who are all trying to kill right now.
Yeah.
But instead, I'm gonna have a ball with this fire.
No, he really likes the fire.
He loves it.
He's like transfixed by it. This new idea of imagine how this could go, and they would die.
Right.
The freaking place is already on fire. And he sets another one on the bar.
On the off chance that he might time it right to lightly singe Indiana Jones.
So and then the fact on top of all of this, and it sort of gets to the next minute a little bit, but the fact that it starts the fire that puts Marion into Indiana's hands. Like,
Oh, yeah.
the reason why she has nothing to stay in Nepal for is because of the fire.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Absolutely. Which, Jesus, how could they? I mean, this scene where Toht says, and he's like greedily nefarious here for a second. He goes, we all know, shoot them both.
Right.
And
Which
you're
is
like,
incredible.
he had the entire thing wrapped up and done. It's like all you have to do is shoot. You don't need to say shoot them both.
Yeah.
Meaning like also my employee.
Right. But you know what? I don't like watching this now. I'm like, yeah, well, why doesn't he just shoot him? Why does he have the guy do it? Why does he have to shoot both of them? But as a kid watching this, I was like, that is like the coldest, coolest, most logical thing. Somehow that makes total sense. Like, he doesn't give a crap about his henchmen. He just wants to make sure Indiana Jones gets dead. That is so cool and sick.
Yeah.
That guy would make a great Nazi.
And that's what's beautiful. You tie that in with the creepy glasses, the fascination with the fire that he just lit on the bar, and then it's just shoot them for the hell of it.
Right. Well, we're in the middle of this bar shootout. Let's shoot some people. Just for kicks. He's awesome.
And in a way, it makes it more jarring when it's like, let's just say for a quick second, the Hebrew God steps in for a quick minute and goes, hey, you forgot to use a little rag to pick up the medallion. You're like...
No, it's another taste of his punishment to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So awesome.
It's so great. There's so much in these 5 minutes.
And I have a note here that the fire on the bar is Spielberg by way of Chuck Jones. That
It is a little Chuck Jonesy.
It is. Like, it doesn't need to have, like, the people in that room, nobody would do that, but it's so cool that they do it. And I have no idea if this is true, but I would assume that was a Spielberg idea. He always seems to be the one to come up with, like, the kind of tricky, I'll say, cinematic moves that, that are kind of, I don't know, almost Rube Goldberg sort of things almost on a small scale.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that bothers me about this, the shoot them both part, is and we all know, if you're the, henchman number, it's number 4? Is it the guy? Is it the guy who is?
I can't see the number on the back of his coat.
Yeah, the dude who was filling outside.
Yeah, it's the outside guy.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's the outside guy. So I would just be like, he says, shoot them both, and my little brain would be like, that's a breach of contract, Toht.
Yeah, I could be that guy.
Yeah,
I don't like this.
Yeah, and you'd say, and so why is he? They both lean over, they shoot the machine gunner, the Chicago-style dude, that you see die in a silhouette, which is incredible.
That's awesome.
But then I'd be like, my job is over today. I quit, Toht.
Right. We're going to have a talk after this.
Yeah, we're going to have, and that's the sort of thing, he's still fighting Indy, and that I don't understand. It's like Toht just said it's fine to execute him, and that's your boss. Everybody wants to kill their boss anyway.
Right.
And this guy just said, no, shoot him. And you're like, you know what? I'm done. Arm on fire or not.
What could make sense.
Or he's like, the guy paid for 6 hours of henchmaning.
I'm going to run out the clock. Okay, but what about this? Here's a way it could make more sense. The guy number 4 with the beard who's fighting Indy right now, what if he's not one of Toht's henchmen and he just came in for a good bar fight? He's like, oh, these guys are duking it out. Let's have a roughhouse. And he starts beating up Indy just for fun. And then, so maybe the henchmen wouldn't actually have any qualms about shooting them both.
Maybe he's furious because he knew Marion was cheating.
Yeah.
And he got suckered.
I want my money. I want my $2. We'll never know.
Well, the whole scene is you're like, there's Toht who's unarmed. There's Indy.
That's not true, by the way. Toht's got a gun, and I don't know. I don't know if he uses it.
Oh, in the scene he does. You're right.
I was wondering the same thing, and I had to go back and make sure.
I mean,
I don't know why he doesn't shoot him.
Should fall on the floor just flat, like, okay, is everybody all right? All right, we're done. The fire guy's gone. The Muppet dude, Nick is a wrap.
Right.
This scene has one part in it that I was reading about and I hadn't noticed before, but it's one of those things that once you see it, you can never unsee it. And so if you don't want to not have to unsee something, maybe skip forward like 30 seconds. But Toht is very obviously not bald, and they shaved the top of his head to make him look bald. And you see like the 5 o'clock shadow on top of his head and the hairline.
Yeah. I actually did notice that as a kid. I always sort of noticed that. It's really clear much later on when he's in like the direct sunlight in the desert.
I may have noticed, but it never bothered me.
Nah. It made me feel cool that I noticed.
I was still lost in the movie magic.
Right, exactly.
Or maybe that's just the haircut he gets.
It makes him look cool.
I mean, he is a weird evil guy. Like that guy's like the weird evil haircut.
I wish I was balder. Give me the weird baldness. We are not balding enough. Well, does anybody else have anything for minute 33, the best minute of the movie so far?
I do. I have one thing. Why is it, or just explain this little thing. When Toht runs out and at the very end, and he hops up and down with his hand steaming in the snow, and like a little rabbit, and he's, you know what I mean? Did they speed up the film there or something?
I think they did.
Okay.
It seems like it anyway.
It seems a little like they did.
Yeah, very Benny Hill.
And again, I'm okay with that.
Sure.
For some reason. I shouldn't be, but I am.
I really shouldn't be, but it seems part of the movie to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're sort of in the middle of, that creepy Nazi guy just got it in the hand. He's having a tough time, and now I get to laugh at him. I was scared out of him like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's weird because it's not like Benny Hill. It doesn't go on for 20 seconds like that.
It's kind of a quick cutaway.
And it gives you permission to laugh at somebody else's misfortune.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
Well, that's what my other thing was. It's like you're watching the whole thing, and all of a sudden you stop, and we all know watching that as a kid, especially everybody's like, "Oh my god!" Dude, that was and everybody's like, you're
exactly
dying laughing.
Yeah.
Because that happened, and you're like, it's amazing how they just sort of make that little few seconds. Everybody knows that, quote, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Steven Spielberg is completely unsympathetic to Nazis in some way.
That he wants to ridicule them.
Yeah, he wants to belittle them and take them down a peg. Several pegs.
And it seems like the medallion, like, it's kind of dark. It's like he almost cools it off in his hand. You know, I mean, because even later, Marion picks up she picks it up with the handkerchief or whatever. But by that point, you're like, it's probably lukewarm right now.
All that heat dissipated into that creepy.
They show it and it's kind of simmering, but you're like, that doesn't look red hot anymore.
Right. Well, I think that does it for minute 33, which is awesome. If you want any more, just watch it again because it's great. Pete, how can people get in touch with us to tell us how much they love minute 33?
If you want even more, come to IndianaJonesMinute.com. You can find all of our episodes. You can find a link to subscribe. You can subscribe via iTunes. And if you like the show, let us know or give us a recommendation.
Yeah. And come back tomorrow for minute 34 of Raiders of the Lost Ark right here on the Indiana Jones Minute. Now let's all scream like Toht as loud as we can.